Adon M. Castaneda here, ex-Marine Sergeant, expert life coach, recovery coach, and intervention professional. Here to talk to you today about the grips of addiction. Okay, anyone addicted to any drug, saying that it's so addictive and they just can't stop, and it eventually kills them, or they just have a lot of side effects like missing teeth, their teeth fall out, bad like abscesses, messed up skin, all sorts of physical ailments, liver and kidney functioning at a lower level, or damage, liver and kidney damage, and things like that. It could obviously affect your heart and mind, your brain in a lot of different ways. So there's certain glands that, like the pituitary gland, that meth and things like that can have permanent damage on. Things like that, the limbic system, and endocrine system, things like that. But the grips of addiction, okay? The grips of addiction, any addict saying they can't stop, it's like, well, it's not the drug itself, because it's really their friend, okay? Just to get straight to the point, it's their friend. Their friend, they're not getting drugs from someone they don't like, usually. Usually they get it from someone they trust, right? They trust this friend. And it's usually like someone they go to school with, someone they work with, someone they one of their friends know, so it's a friend of a friend of a friend, something like that, right? And it's usually that's part of the game, and that's part of the grips of addiction. It's really a friend supplying you with a drug that you're addicted to, and you can't stop. That means, well, you know where to get it, you know you have money, you know who you could give it to, and trade and barter your money for their drugs, which you're addicted to, right? Now, it's as simple as, for me, when I quit doing drugs, I just stopped contacting the drug dealers, and that's it. And I didn't have no supply to any of those drugs anymore. I could get something over the counter, liquor, beer, whatever, but cigarettes. But the hardcore drugs nowadays that's getting you killed is the pills that are 7 out of 10 times cut with fentanyl, and laced with fentanyl. So 7 out of 10 pills are counterfeit these days. 70% of the drug overdose deaths in America are fentanyl related. 70% are due to fentanyl. Now, there's 100,000 deaths a year in the United States, a little over 100,000 deaths a year in the United States from fentanyl from drug overdose, and 70% of that, so 70,000 a year, is due to fentanyl specifically, approximately. Okay, so the grips of addiction. Anyone who's saying there, I know people are sad when they lose family members, and children, and things like that, saying it's not their fault. The grips of addictions had a hold of them. You don't know what it's like. I know what it's like. And I know it's not too difficult to quit when you cut the drug dealers out of your life, especially your friends, and that might be hard because that's an emotional bond and an emotional connection. But you cut out your best friend. Your best friend could be supplying you with drugs. I have one friend. I really don't have any friend. I don't trust anybody. But I have one friend. I know him. Okay, I've known him for a while. I still don't even trust him, and I don't think he uses anything but maybe cigarettes or beer socially. But I still don't trust him in anything else, because what happens to him, he might become depressed. Humans are fallible creatures, and we make mistakes, and we're susceptible to mental illness and things like that. He might become sad one day. He might want drugs to overcome his depression or a situation. Maybe he loses a kid, or maybe he loses a family member, and he turns to pills or something like that. And then he gets me involved in that or something. It's like, well, I'm not going to take that chance, right? I appreciate that he's a good guy. He's trying hard. He's working hard, supporting his family, all that. But I still don't trust anyone. It's like people have a background, and people are fallible creatures. And you just have to be careful. And we're religious. We're both religious. We're both Christian. But I still understand that all the circumstances I've been through, I know that the grips of addiction are due to your friends. They're due to your best friends and people sometimes family members, that supply you with the drugs. And that's where the grips, that's the core aspect of the grips of addiction. The grips of addiction is not really just a physical dependency or psychological dependency or psychological addiction. That's part of it. But your supplier, your drug dealer, the person supplying you, is responsible for, that's the grip. They have the grip around your throat. They have the grip around you. And they're not letting go until they get all your money, or until you die. Okay, when you run out of money, they're not going to supply you anymore. They might, but they probably won't. When you die, it's game over. They're moving on to someone else. It's just business for them. Even your friends, even who you think are your friends, if they're supplying you, it's like, well, they still need to make money, right? They still need to eat. They still got bills to pay, kids to feed, whatever. So the grips of addiction, I wanted to get into that, let you know that it's not, I got out of it, and I know that I could have easily lost my life in the grips of addiction, but I separated myself, I isolated myself. I detoxed in a hotel for about 2 weeks. I just got a hotel, stayed there for 2 weeks, withdrew from heroin. Everything hurt, my legs hurt, I had trouble breathing, I had fevers, night chills, sweats, all that stuff, vomiting, everything. And it was really bad. And I just knew that, I just wanted to get over this, kind of like a sickness, just like, you need to get over that. And I'll feel better. I'll be healthier. I'll be able to drink water, exercise, walk around, not be in that pain, and I'll be healthy again. So you just have to look forward to that. And it's going to feel like shit. It's going to feel horrible. For 2 weeks at least. Some people a month, maybe 2 months. But once you're through with that, once you're done with your detoxing, and I self-detoxed. Now you could go to rehab and detox and all that. But what I did was I just stopped contacting the drug dealers. They weren't harassing me, whatever, but you still need to disconnect and delete all those contacts. Delete those social media contacts, delete the phone numbers, change your phone number, move a different city and state if you have to, and that's it. You're out of the grips of addiction. Unless someone new comes in your life, just keep them out of your life. And there'll be no grip of addiction, right? So unless you're doing stuff at the store, over-the-counter stuff from the doctor, whatever, but just take stuff as prescribed from the doctor. Don't abuse over-the-counter medications. Don't overdo it with alcohol. Don't overdo it with cigarettes, none of that. And you're good from the grips of addiction, right? That's it. For me, it was as simple as that, right? So if your supplier cannot supply you with a pill or weed or drugs that are laced with fentanyl, they can supply you with this drug-laced fentanyl, then you're probably not going to die, right? If they're out of the picture and if you're not contacting them, you have a much higher chance of success and survival and not being overdosed by your so-called friend, right? So for me, I recommend, I'll make this video as short as possible. The grips of addiction, in regards to that, just, you have to isolate yourself. Some people say that's a bad thing, but isolate yourself for a while, get your mind straight, get on a computer, start researching programs you want to take, schools you want to go to, jobs you want to apply for, if you want to do dating and all that, what you want to do, a business you want to set up, things like that, where you want to move forward with your life, car you want to get, apartment you want to move into, house you want to move into, everything, right? Instead of seeking out drug behavior addiction, start seeking out vitamins, holistic regimen. What's the closest gym I could go to? A most affordable gym, 10, 15 bucks a month for a gym. Mine's 10 bucks a month, Crunch Fitness. Go to LA Fitness, go to Planet Fitness, go to all sorts of different gyms, right? 10 bucks a month. And, that's going to improve your health. Vitamins, nutritional therapy, dieting, proper diet, Mediterranean, keto diet, vegan diet. All this stuff is going to change your life significantly. Getting sweating out those toxins, getting the sweat in, going to the sauna, walk in, getting some sunshine, vitamin D, and taking your vitamins to prevent cancer, to prevent Alzheimer's, to prevent cardiovascular disease. Eating right, not eating at McDonald's or all these, trash, greasy food restaurants where they cook the food in grease, and then that goes straight to your heart, clogs it up, messes up your arteries. You're going to get atherosclerosis when you're older and just have high blood pressure, get a heart attack and stroke and die. Why not just diet now and have a long, healthy lifespan so you can look after your family, look after your children, look after your friends, and be that wise guardian angel, that wise old guardian angel on the street, giving positive advice, and being able to provide for your family and friends financially, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, okay? So once you get on a computer, that's access to your whole world. That computer is going to give you access to everything you need. What you need to research, anything you want to know, ask AI. Pop it into Google, throw it into Google. Throw it into see what like I said, gyms, exercise therapy, nutritional counselors, nutrition dietitians, mentors, things like that. Mentors for businesses, therapy for relationships, drug addiction. You can get on talktherapy.com or talkspace.com. It's talkspace.com and betterhelp.com, I believe. So look those up. And I think talkspace.com actually takes some insurance, so you could get therapy for different things, and they take insurance, so it'll be a very small deductible, a very small copay, I believe. So look those things up and get out of the grips of addiction, right? Get out of the grips of addiction, getting high, sitting there, in a daze, getting confused, maybe listening to music, and you might become more appreciative of music and art or something like that. But after the first couple hits, your first couple highs, you're just killing so many brain cells. It's going to be difficult to recover from that. So here's another thing I recommend: peptides, right? Peptides is so new. It's a medical breakthrough. Okay, look up peptides. Look up centers. Look up to see if you could maybe order some online pellets, like a vitamin, like a pill, or they actually do injections at some clinics. Here in San Antonio, they do injections of peptides for your brain. It's for clarity, focus, concentration, preservation, health. They have some for sleep. They have some for healing. They have some for different things, right? Peptides are good for the body, brain, and they also have like vitamin injections, different things for like HGH hormones or testosterone therapy for men, things like that. So you could get injections for vitamin B12, which is energy, vitamin spectrum, vitamin C maybe, vitamin C injection. So there's different things for your health that you can do that is a better addiction, right? So you're going to have to replace the grips of addiction with a new addiction. Your new addiction has to be healthy, otherwise you're going to die. Otherwise you're going to lose your life in the grips of addiction, which a lot of people do. Because you have that grip, that drug dealer's got a hold of you. That drug dealer's got your number, he's got your address, he knows things about you, right? He knows who your family is, he knows who your friends are, he knows where you work, he or she. And they know where to go to find you, where to contact you, who to call to get a hold of you, to sell you drugs, to say, hey, we're having a party. We're going to smoke some weed. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time. We're going to drink. And at that party, yeah, let's take this pill, let's do this drink, let's smoke this joint, whatever. It's laced, people die. Okay, or whatever, man. Either way, you're going to lose a lot of brain cells. Okay, things are not going to turn out so well. You're not going to be a stellar mathematician, stellar professor, stellar NASA scientist. You're not going to have that successful career. Okay, you're not going to be able to help others and be a positive influence or role model for your family. Okay, especially if you have kids, or just being a brother or sister or son or daughter, or parent, right, or even a friend. You're not going to be a positive role model for your circle of influence, right? And you're just going to spiral downwards. So get out of the grips of addiction, okay, and start finding those new habits and those new addictions: vitamins, dieting, exercising, using your computer and internet to access all the resources you need: peptides, NAD peptides, stuff to help you sleep, injections of vitamin C, injections for vitamin B12, different peptides for your brain, plasticity, preservation, neuroplasticity, neural generation, regeneration, things like that. Vitality, health, fitness. Some of it's even like skin health. Some of it, NADs are actually prescribed for veterans with traumatic brain injury, and even recovering addicts. If you have a lot of brain damage for a recovering addict, you need some serious therapy, serious help. And NAD plus therapy is great for that, right? There's some risks, like if you're prone to cancer, then you shouldn't. They're not won't even allow you to take it, because there's certain side effects to where it can accelerate that growth. But if you're cancer free and you don't have cancer in your family, you have nothing to worry about, you have no history of cancer, then that's a very good thing for addicts, veterans with traumatic brain injury. And I know a guy that takes. I know a few people that take it. I know there's a clinic here, and if you're healthy, then it could be one of the most beneficial things you do for your recovery. For if you're in a car accident, if you have brain damage, if you have traumatic brain injury from war, from an IED, from an impact, from hitting your head on the ground really hard somehow, or things like that, right? Traumatic brain injury, or mental illness, or even things like that. So that's going to help. And this is one medical breakthrough, very new. You probably haven't heard of it. There's a lot of controversy around it, not a whole lot of data or science to back it up, but it's benefits versus risks, right? There's a lot of positive reviews. Some people take it, right? Some people are willing to outweigh the benefits versus the risks, and it helps for serious cases. to where the benefits definitely going to outweigh the risk. If you have a lot of brain damage from drugs, you're a recovering addict, and you want this mental clarity, you want health preservation, brain preservation, brain regeneration, things like that. It's going to cost about $75 a shot. You need about 4 shots a month. That's about $300 a month, okay, for your recovery. And you cycle. You might be a few months on, a few months off, 3 months on, a couple months off, something like that. So it's very scientific. They monitor if you have side effects. Any side effects, you report to them. So that's the medical breakthrough I wanted to talk about. Peptides, okay? PEPTIDES, peptides. Look them up, do research. NAD plus peptides are specifically for brain. They have other ones, they have like hundreds. They have thousands of peptides. I think a couple thousand are on the market. I think the body naturally produces peptides, but I think you have about 7,000 different peptides. They're like kind of like chains, something like that, in the body that you this is gonna replenish. This is gonna be beneficial. So look them up. I'm still researching. I'm still learning about it myself before I actually get those injections myself. Okay, so I can't give you the full scoop. You're gonna have to do some research on your own, see if it's beneficial for your situation. Okay, so that's one thing to help. Okay, get into detox, cut off that drug dealer, cut off your friend, cut off your friends. If they're bad influences, if they want to do drugs and party, that's not leading anywhere. That's going to lead to your downfall, right? If you want to be successful, start a business, do something with your life, get a high-paying, successful career, you're going to have to study, you're going to have to train, you're going to have to go to school, you're going to have to figure something out other than partying with your friends, getting high, and ending up overdosing and dying. Then your family's going to talk about you were in the grips of addiction, you couldn't get out, it's not your fault, right? But you could get out because you could delete those drug dealers from your contacts and your social media, change your phone number, and they can't contact you anymore. Tell them, I don't want to talk to you anymore until you get clean. Until you get clean, I don't want to talk to you. So keep that in mind, okay? That will break you free and free you from the grips of addiction, right? You might just have one drug dealer. You might have a few drug dealers, 2, 3 drug dealers, right? Break out of those chains. Break out of those grips of addiction, okay? And it's the main thing I wanted to talk about, okay? I don't want to sound repetitive, but that's the last thing I'll say for now. Once again, Ex-Marine Sergeant Adon Miguel Castaneda, expert life coach, recovery coach, intervention professional. Hope you found this information useful. If you did, drop a like and subscribe. Take care.